of the people.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to my top 100 games of all time. So far, of course. We are going to be cracking into the top 20 today, and I'm very excited. This is a chunk of good old standbys for me. There are 2 new games on this 20 through 11, but for the most part, this is just solid hit after solid hit for me, and I am very excited to share it with you. So let's kick it off right away. Here we go. My number 20 was my number 3 last time I did this list. 3 people. And it's dropped a little bit. I think it's partly because, again, I did not check the original list when I did this. And then once I completed my new top 100, I went back and looked at the last time I did it and noticed this was 3 last time. I guess I've cooled on it a little bit. I don't know what it is, but I still adore the game. King of Tokyo is my number 20. They just came out with a new version of this, in fact, and it's just as good as the old one. It's wonderful. It's gorgeous. Great family game. Quick, dicey, but with interesting choices. Lots of theme to play it up. You can be a monster, and oh, so good. This game, I've played with family. I've played with high school-aged kids. I've played with non-gamers. Everybody gets into it. You know, there's something about it people like. Be it that they gravitate towards the dice, they gravitate towards the monster theme. It's just something will hook you, about this game. So that's my number 20. My number 19 is Beyond Balderdash, which was my 13 last time, and I've adored this party game for many, many years. It always gets me rolling on the floor laughing. I think I have not completed a game of Beyond Balderdash in many years because I just don't get to that point. This sounds bad, but this game gives me a headache. From laughing so much, I'll get a headache from this game. And I just love it. I have great memories of playing this over at friends' houses, just devolving into cackling and chaos, and I wouldn't trade that away for anything. So Beyond Balderdash, good old classic standby for me. My number 19. My number 18 was my number 63. And I do know why it's jumped up so much. And that's because they came out with a second edition of the game not very long ago. This is San Juan. San Juan was one of my gateway games. It was like my third game, I want to say. Carcassonne and San Juan and Ticket to Ride and Citadels. Like those 4 were some of the first ones. And San Juan is just unbelievably cool, though the theme isn't quite there. And by that I mean the theme's there, but it's not that exciting. But the combos you can trigger, it really does take Puerto Rico, which for me was good, but a little too crunchy, and it gives you all the interesting parts of it, whoop, in a smaller frame, still with the interesting, be careful what you do and you don't give someone else a better turn than you're giving yourself. Love it. And the new version, excellent. They combined the expansion that was out there, but it was kind of hard to find. The card backs were a little off, and the whole thing was just one of those expansions that came out many, many years after the game had been out, so it didn't quite mix in as well as I wanted it to. This game gives you it as one package, and it cleans up a couple of things, adds a couple of new things. I just adore it. So San Juan is my 18. My number 17 is, I'm pretty sure, my favorite abstract game. I'm looking here. I think that's right. It's my favorite abstract game ever. And this is Yinch. Yinch is from the GIF project. And what it does best is that it gives you something familiar, and then it gives you something new. It combines that idea of things you expect to work in the way you expect them to work, and then still gives you a challenging, interesting, new twist on old standbys. I think if any game on this list of mine is going to still be around and still be a classic in 100 years, Yinch could quite possibly be it. Now, that's all in, I think it's got the ability to do that, I should say. It's quite possibly not going to do that. In fact, it's often not in print, it would seem. Though I think it's coming back in print from a new publisher. But Yinch is just wonderful. It gives you, the whole 5 in a row thing. It gives you the Othello flipping pieces thing. But it combines them in this new mix that is, again, at the same time, familiar and exciting and new. So, I just love it. 17 Yinch. My number 16 is one of the 2 new additions to the list here. And this is Deception Murder in Hong Kong, which takes everything that I liked about Mysterium and streamlines it and makes it a punchier experience for me. Now, yes, you leave on the floor the amazing artwork that is in Mysterium. Mysterium just looks unbelievably gorgeous. And the productions, both of the ones I've seen, the original Polish and the newer one, are both beautiful. But the game is a little meandering, maybe. It takes sort of a little bit long to sort of get to its point, make its point. And Deception Murder in Hong Kong, right away, you're engaged in a very intimate, passionate way. It's like, boom, you're right into it. And someone in the game is a killer. You don't know who, but there's one player who is going to be giving clues silently on cards that show up on the table, and they know who the killer is. And the other players are figuring out from these clues who it might be, because you have in front of you some items, and some parts of clues, and so people have to sort of go, okay, well, it could be that, if so-and-so is saying that the scene of the crime was messy, then maybe it's this thing over there in front of whoever. Now, you have to be aware, one of those people is the killer and is trying to throw off suspicion. The whole thing is an absolute beauty in design, and if you are a fan of that social deduction type game, Resistance, Werewolf, all that stuff, then you gotta play this game. It really takes the genre and elevates it, I think. It's just amazing. I love it. So, that is Deception Murder in Hong Kong, my 16. My number 15 is also shortly, or just did, get a new edition, a 10th anniversary edition, and this is Mr. Jack. Mr. Jack is a 2-player kind of deduction game. It's more like a process of elimination game. You are trying to figure out who is Jack the Ripper. Or you are Jack the Ripper and trying to keep who you are hidden. And that's it. But the game, I remember when I first played this game, I did not think that this was possible with 2 players. It just blew my mind. I couldn't wrap my head around how you could do such an interesting game of cat and mouse back and forth with just 2 players and in such a tight package. It's unbelievable to me. I still adore it, and while I put Mr. Jack, which is the original, on the list here, you can consider this category as an entry for the family of games, which is Mr. Jack in New York, and then Phantom of the Opera with a different theme but based on the same system. All 3 are fantastic. I still have sort of a soft spot in my heart for the original, though, so that's why I put that one specifically on the list. All right, my number 14 was my number 19 last time, which is basically the same thing, and this is Jambo, or the newer release, Asante. And again, they're very close to one another, these games. You can find Asante much more easily than you can find Jambo, I believe. But both are great. They can technically even be combined, but Asante is this, again, 2-player concept that I would have thought wouldn't be possible. You are trading, you are sort of bartering with 2 players and managing your stall, buying things cheaply, selling them back for a profit, trying to trip up your opponent by playing these animal cards that have effects, having these interesting artifacts in front of you that you can continue triggering turn after turn for, it's got a little hint of like tableau building. The whole thing it's an economic game, but one with teeth. And I mean, teeth, like you can smack your opponent around in this game. But they'll turn right around and do it to you, so it's, it evens out. and you're trying to get to a certain number of money. I like the theme is different than most games out there. I like the artwork in it, unbelievable artwork. I like that the turns are real quick, and it's one of those games with lots of cards with lots of awesome powers on them, and I like that a lot. It's one of my favorite styles of games, you know. So, Jambo or Asante, either one, really cool game that would seem to not be that cool because of it's a game where you buy stuff and sell it back. Huh? But this one does it just right. So that's 14. My number 15 was technically my number 16 last time I did this, and I'll explain why. My 13 is 51st State Master Set. And the reason I say it was technically my 16 last time is because when I did the list in 2014, my number 16 was New Era, or the New Era. That was a follow-up to the original 51st State. And I loved it. I loved 51st State. I loved New Era. I liked all the expansions that came out for that. And the new 51st State Master Set doesn't necessarily feel like a master set. They did not throw everything that was out there, you know, expansions and promotional cards and all this stuff into a box and then give it back to you again. They streamlined it. And so it's now plays faster, it plays more violently. It's a little bit quicker. It's more, you know, you have to be more careful right away in the game. The whole thing has been cleaned up from a point of view of there's now, you know, a little bit of this text on cards instead of like this crazy iconography that was there before. And so it's a lot easier to play now as well. And I love it. It hurt a little bit, I'll admit, but I got rid of my old 51st State and New Era and Winter and all that stuff that I had before, and just kept the new one. Hopefully there's expansions coming for it, because I'm super psyched about getting more. But as it is, really awesome game. It's been a favorite for a long time, and the new one, I think, is a slam dunk. I really do. So, that is my 13, 51st State. My number 12 is the other new game to the list since I did it last time, and this is Deus. Deus takes all the things I like about Civ building, which is not much, I'll admit, and it gives me just that stuff. It's simple. It cuts right to the quick. The Civ building parts, when you're deploying buildings and sort of taking over this map, are straightforward. They're clean. The card play is basic but strategic, whereas you are building cards in specific areas in front of you, and every time you play a new card of a type, if there's other cards of that same type you have played previously, you trigger all of them, including the new card. And so you can make some really neat combinations. And everybody will play very differently at the table. I've enjoyed this game a lot. I remember the first time, I believe it was the designer, if I'm not mistaken, I saw at a convention, they were like, I think you're going to like my game. I'm sorry if it wasn't the designer, maybe the publisher. I think it was the designer. And I said, oh, okay, sure, cool, you know, and that's fine. But the more I saw it, I was like, looks good, you know, I like the look of it. But the more I played it, the more I kept thinking, man, that guy was right. This game is amazing. And as you can see, in my top 15 games, my number 12 of all time. I just adore it. I heard rumblings there was an expansion for this coming out, and I cannot wait to get my hands on that, because more is always good for me. All right, that's my 12. And then my number 11 was my number 21 last time. This is my old college game. Played the heck out of it back in college. And this is Liar's Dice. Liar's Dice, of course. The clickety-clacking of, you know, throwing down the cups and taking a look at the dice you've got and then lying, or maybe telling the truth, or maybe pushing the truth a little bit too much, trying to figure out what everybody else has at the table. Just love it. Quick. I was able to teach it to just about everybody back in college, and we played a whole lot. during the afternoons and you know, before going to rehearsals and things like that. And just an amazing game that I treasure, just not just for the gameplay of it, but for the memories that it's given me, you know, and the friends that I can still talk to these days and go, guys, remember playing Liar's Dice back in the day, all that, you know, all the times we played and how much we enjoyed it. Yeah. So I love that about it too, you know. It means something to me, and I just adore it for that and how great of a game it is. So that's my number 11, and that wraps it up for today. Come on back next time when I break this bad boy wide open 10 through number 1. What could it be? Come on back for that, folks. Thanks for sticking around, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Z can be a little polemic. He stings like the 8th outbreaking pandemic. Z's got flavor in his top 100 games.
Lice shower.
Z Garcia, voice of the people. Z Garcia, voice of the people.